So first of all, I want to say congratulations to the 12 finalists and also to their instructors for mentoring them to Washington, D.C. Congratulations again.
This is a great honor, and I'm very happy to be here to congratulate you and wish my best.
Well, congratulations, great accomplishment, and to your instructors. This is a great thing. May you all have wonderful careers in the field of economics.
Congratulations, it's great that you love economics.
So when I was a high school student, I loved science fiction. I loved Isaac Asimov in particular, and if you've ever read that stuff, Isaac Asimov had a classic trilogy of novels about the Foundation novels, about there's a declining galactic civilization, and to save the universe from the Dark Ages, social scientists with this mathematical model of social behavior step in, and they do what's needed to save it. And so I sort of wanted to be one of those, and discovered that, well, we've got a few millennia before we actually get there, but economics is as close as we can get, so that's how I got into it. And I loved history, but the trouble with history is that it's a lot about what happened, but not too much about why it happened. And again, there's nothing quite like economics for making sense of this world and possibly giving you the guidance you need to make it a little bit better.
I became interested in the field of economics when I was a sports card dealer in the late 80s as an undergraduate student at the University of Wisconsin at Stevens Point. See, back then I was pretty poor. So what I had to do is go to sports card shows and buy, sell, and trade these little cardboard entities called sports cards. And I learned a lot about economics, and I learned a lot about how to test the major tenets of economics in the sports card market. So that's what initially drove me to thinking about economics.
I became interested in economics when I was a high school student because I got interested in social issues and wanted to understand how the differences across societies were shaped and why the big picture questions in societies developed the way that they did, how some societies came to be rich and more democratic and have markets, and this was kind of not something that most high school students were kind of interested in at the time, but I quickly realized that this is what economics was about, and they were important questions, and then I also got to realize that economics was quite well suited to kind of my other interests in doing quantitative work and trying to dig deeper into issues related to scientific questions, and I was hooked.
It's interesting that when I was growing up, I was very interested in science and thought I always might want to be a scientist. But I also had a great interest in economics. In fact, my father talked all the time about the Great Depression, and even though he fought in World War II, he didn't discuss that, just what it was like in the Great Depression. So I always had a fascination with that period. And then when I went to college, I started doing both physics and economics because I was a nerd after all, and ended up falling in love with economics, and by the end of my freshman year I decided that I was going to become an economist. I found my calling.
I think that economics is a way of thinking about life, a way of making choices. So each time I enter a certain situation, I think about what would the standard economic model tell me to do, how then do I want to behave, and how should I think about using that particular market to learn something deeper about the economic science. See, my life is going out to markets and thinking about how I can perturb those markets, and thinking about how I can then learn something about economics from those markets. So my general advice is A, have fun with economics, B, use economics as best as you can in your lifetime choices, and in the end, your life will be very fulfilling.
I think the first advice that I would give is just keep your enthusiasm. I think it's all about enthusiasm and motivation. What's great about economics is that it's fun. And it's easy to be motivated and enthusiastic and have a sense of something important taking place, but it's not boring, and I think that's what motivates most people who do successful research or use economics successfully in their jobs and daily lives. That I think that's been my mantra in going about in the economics profession. More specifically, I think this is a great time to be an economist. I think there are a lot of questions in the society at large that require economists' expertise. They're challenging questions. They challenge us both as scientists and as citizens. They challenge us as economists. But I think this is not a shortcoming. But I see that as a great challenge, a great opportunity. Of course, many people are aware that the recent macroeconomic developments, including crises that have happened in the United States and all over the world, are a big challenge to economics, and they're a very productive challenge to all of us to kind of think outside the box and understand how financial markets work and how they're integrated into the economy. But that's only the tip of the iceberg. I think many other topics that have been bread and butter for economists are still kind of exciting and relevant. I'm still obsessed about the issue of why some societies are able to achieve economic growth and become prosperous and develop political and social systems that are more functional than others, and I think while other social scientists also are interested in these kind of questions, economics is uniquely well placed to provide a framework for thinking about these questions, and I think many people will see this around them, when they look within the United States, to different parts of the United States, within North America and Latin America, within around the world, when they travel, that there's these great disparities and great differences in how things are done, how markets work, how the economy works, and it's just approaching these as really interesting observations for us to be motivated by. I think that's kind of the starting point for much of economic research, and really exciting thing for me, and I hope for many people, many young minds who are going to embark on this journey as well.
I think the key issue, really is passion. If you love a subject, you'll learn it and you'll enjoy it and be able to be creative in it. And if economics is your passion, then that's terrific. It was passion for me, and it served me very well. It doesn't get any more exciting than this. As a macroeconomist, all these bad events just are fodder for writing more papers and writing books. So it's bad news can be good news for some people.
Economics, it's the sociology of the field, or at least the social environment. The really important stuff is done by men and women in their 20s and 30s who are creating really breakthrough ideas. That's where it's really important. And the best thing still, the best way for me to spend my time, if I can, is to just sit in on seminars where some bright young thing is once again challenging all of our assumptions, changing the way we think about stuff. So you grow up and you get a little bit probably rigid in the way you think, and so you don't do those sorts of things anymore. You also get just too busy. But what's great about what I do now is that I'm serving the role, I think, of communicating economics to people, trying to weigh in on issues that are of current, of real concern. And this is a world. The world we're living in right now is one in which very fundamental economic ideas are not some abstraction, or they're not something everybody knows. They're right at the question of how do we deal with this terrible mess that the world is in. And everything that the field has learned these past 70 years is relevant to where we are right now. And I just consider it a great thing that I'm in a position where I have a bit of space in the most important newspaper in the world, and a little bit of credibility because I've been around, and it doesn't hurt that the Swedes decided to give me something. But so this is a great time, not just a great time to be looking for a job or trying to run a business, but it is a great time to be doing economics.